Architects, pull up your Eames chair, put on those black spectacles, and pour yourself a piping hot cup of strong black coffee because we're about to delve into unfiltered conversations with architects from all over the world discussing all things health and wellness. So, if you're an architect that's been searching for more balance, more fulfillment, and more overall health and happiness, turn up your hearing aids just a notch because we've got the answers. I'm your host, Morgan Chihuahua, a licensed architect, stress management consultant, and founder of The Healthy Architect. Grab your trace paper and let's dive in. Architects, let's talk about our mindset. Your mindset is the single most important thing that impacts how far you'll go in your career, how healthy you'll be in life, how much money you will make if that's something that's important to you, how you show up for your family, your friends, your colleagues, how you show up at the end of your review, how you show up in a meeting with a contractor that has thrown you under the bus time and time and time again. Your mindset impacts how you respond to an email where the owner is telling you the schedule has been decreased again, all while, oh yeah, they're still making changes to the floor plan. Your mindset is everything. 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 That's a Cat Williams skit, by the way. Let me know if you've heard it. If I only had $10 in my bank account, $10, I was poor and I had the choice to spend $10 on ramen noodles, the yummy chicken flavor. Actually, I think they have shrimp too that we ate in college and they were like 10 cents a pop. And my husband still eats them, by the way. Or I could spend that $10 on my mindset. I would spend it on my mindset every single time. And let me tell you why. Because spending that $10 on ramen noodles will only get me to the end of the week, right? $10 I can spend on ramen noodles. It's going to keep me happy, fulfilled to the end of the week, not hungry, comfortable till the end of the week. But spending the $10 on my mindset would pay me back tenfold and would bring me filet mignons for the next decade. Juicy, full filet mignons for the next decade. That's the difference in what mindset can do. Now, you're probably thinking that I'm crazy, and I'm not. Okay, maybe I am just a little bit, but that's an entirely different podcast. And I'll have to bring my husband in on that one. Mindset work is probably a foreign concept to you because we didn't learn it in architecture school, right? That wasn't our like 101 on our first internship. Instead, it was like, get into Revit. How do you open Revit? How do you sync Revit, right? They didn't say, come into your internship and let's talk about mindset. And that's okay. I had to do a lot of personal development for mindset work. And that's perfectly fine. It was foreign to me once upon a time too. Just listen, just absorb, and just remain open to thinking a little bit differently. Remain open to listening to this podcast from an architect's point of view that has done a lot of personal development and professional development. Okay. Just broaden your brain just for the next few minutes on this podcast. That's it. You can go back to your closed mind the rest of the day, the rest of your life if you want. But for this podcast, just show up with an open mind, right? Just be able to think differently. Because it might be a foreign concept, but I'm going to reframe my verbiage to allow it to land a little easier for architects and design professionals because I am one, right? And I know how to use your verbiage. Okay, let's think of it this way, okay? Don't get too bogged down. Just listen. Our minds create thoughts. Our thoughts create feelings. Our feelings create action, and our action creates results. Okay, so it goes from thoughts to feelings to actions, results. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Write that down. I challenge you. Actually, I love a good challenge. I challenge you to put that on your sticky note and place it on your computer screen so you see it every single day. Your thoughts create a feeling. Your feelings create an action, and your actions create a result. Okay. So let's put this in architectural terms. I'm going to give you a few examples, okay? So what if your mind created the thought? Okay, this is the thought that your mind came up with because your mind and your brain is an entity of its own. So here's the thought. I don't have time to take a walk in the morning before a potentially stressful day at work. I just don't have the time. I'm exhausted. I don't have the time. I just don't have the time. I don't have time to wake up any earlier than I already am. It's going to be a stressful day at work. I don't have the time. Okay, that's the thought. What is the feeling that that thought evokes? For me, it makes me feel anxious, stressed, and under pressure. That thought alone made me feel anxious, stressed, and under pressure. Okay, we've already talked about the thought, we've talked about the feeling. Here's the action. The action from that feeling is getting up super early and rushing through making my coffee just the way I like it and rushing to grab my bag and my laptop and not eating a healthy breakfast and grabbing a donut on the way to work at Dunkin' Donuts with an extra large spiced latte with oat milk, sitting down at my desk and start chugging away at emails to my contractor, to my consultants, to my colleagues. Rush, 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 go, go, go. That's the action I take because of that thought, because of those feelings. And what's the result? The last one. What's the result? This is an endless loop of working 24/7, all from one single thought. Does that land with you? Does that sound familiar? Come on, architects. I know you've always been there. You've been there, right? Thoughts equal feelings. Feelings equal actions. Actions equal results. Okay, let's reframe it. We're going to reframe this. What if your thought was, next example, moving on. What if your thought was, this is my life? I am in control. I'm going to create the time to spend on myself and my health before I go to work in the morning, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Even if it's for 5 minutes, I'm in control. This is my life. I know this is going to pay me back. And I'm going to wake up 5 minutes earlier so I can take a walk in the morning or I can pour into myself. How does that thought make you feel? That makes me feel empowered, in control, calm. The feeling of that thought was powered, in control, and calm. Okay, so we went over the thought, we went over the feeling. Here's the action: dedicating time on myself, dedicating time on my well being, the health and wellness of my body and my brain, AKA our money makers as architects. That's the action that I took because of those feelings, because of that thought. And lastly, what's the result? After I take a walk, I dedicate time to myself, my health, my wellness, my moneymaker, aka my brain. The result is I go into work in the morning feeling calmer, happier, more fulfilled, more in control, more empowered on how I get to start my day. My emails that I'm writing land better. I have more energy to take on those red lines. I'm not snapping at my coworkers or my contractors or my colleagues or my bosses or anybody else that I work with, my consultants. You see, your thoughts are just that. They're thoughts. They can be changed. They can be controlled. They can be shifted. And ultimately, they will impact the results you get in your life, your career, and your relationships. Your thoughts and your mindset, your inner dialogue to yourself controls everything, everything. So think about this exercise that we just went through. Next time you have a thought that says, I don't have time to, I don't have the energy to, I don't have the money to, I don't have the negotiation skills to, I don't have the leverage to. Because if you say it to yourself and you think it to yourself, then you're right. If you're an architect or design professional that wants change, that wants results, that wants to love your life and your career again, but just doesn't know where to start, you should not only think about working with me one-on-one, but you should do it. You should do it because remember, your thoughts create your results. I'll place a link below to a free discovery call where we won't only imagine your future self, but we will outline actionable steps to create it. Okay, architects, that's all for today. Thank you for tuning in and stay happy, stay healthy, and keep creating impactful architecture. Architects, this podcast is the culmination of the most creative minds in the world. The planning and programming of this content is extensive, and I'm proud to be a small part of the change that's happening in our profession. If you want to be a part of this change, the very best thank you can give the Healthy Architect is giving us a 5-star review and sharing this episode with a colleague. When you give us a 5-star review and you share this podcast, you are playing a role in changing our industry, one architect at a time. Be happy, be healthy, and take action towards a more fulfilling career. See you next week on the Healthy Architect Podcast.